Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Saturday, August the 17th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Corner Gay. Hey, today's word of the day, wreak, which means to bring about or cause something that is harmful or damaging. Wreak. Hope everyone is enjoying their Saturday. The weekend is here. The weekend is here. We have finally made it. Hallelujah. Some of us may have to work. No problem. Well, it is a problem. I can remember those days I hated working on the weekend. Never ending cycle. But hey, whatever the case may be, we have made it to the end of the work week. The weekend is here. Finally get some relaxation and calmness and peace in our lives, only to start it back over again Monday. Back to work we go, back to work we go. So hey, enjoy yourself this weekend while you can. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Hey, before I go any further, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. As always, there's going to be a lot of interesting topics we are going to discuss. I would hate for you guys to miss out on it. So hit that like, that subscribe, and that bell icon, and also get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think, whether yeah or nay. I'm pretty thick skinned. Let me know what you guys think about the topics I'm talking about. Are they good, bad, ugly, or maybe, hey, keep going, or should I just shut up? Be quiet. You have it all figured out. You don't need my 2 cents. Whatever the case may be, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Just do, just do. No skin off my back won't hurt me in the least, will not hurt me in the least. I usually don't get riled up and upset because someone doesn't agree with me. That's just me. Some others may feel differently, but that's just me. Like I always say, we are all adults. We are all grown. We can all sit down and have a nice, mature adult conversation without getting downright belligerent and start degrading each other. But that appears to be what is going on now in this world we are living in. I won't do it. I won't do it. Everyone on this earth is entitled to their opinion, whether they agree with you or not. So there's no need to try to stuff them up under a rock because you don't agree with them. Just don't. So yeah, hit that like and subscribe button. Get in that comment section along with that bell icon. Also, let me know what you guys think. You can stay in the loop. Bah. All right, let's move along here. Hey, man, the temperatures, they continue to be pleasant. They're in the 80s. So much so today is going to be 89 with a real feel of, temperatures are expected to be 80 something with a real feel of 92 today. But rain is expected tomorrow, and it could be severe. It's expected to come through later in the afternoon or evenings. But man, I'm going to enjoy it. I am going to enjoy it. Trust me, trust me, trust me when I tell you that. Because, like I said, temps are in the 80s. But the rest of this week coming up, it's going to be extremely, extremely pleasant. Temps are expected to be in the 70s. That's right. You heard me. Expected to be in the 70s, and lows at night is going to be in the upper 50s to low 60s in August. In the South, whew, hallelujah, hallelujah is all I can say. But like I always say, haven't made it out of August yet, and this is the South. This is the South. They still haven't gave a concrete prediction if this is going to continue on into September, and also if we're done with the heat. Yeah, this is the South. This is the South. You never know which way the mop is going to flop. The temperatures and weather here is so unpredictable. You just never know. But man, I'm going to take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. And I will accept these pleasant days in the 80s. And then next week it's going to be in the 70s. Boy, you can't beat that with a stick. You can't beat that with a stick. I will take it any day of the week, any day of the week. So, hey. Get out, enjoy this nice weather while you can. If you've been here, or you can remember, not too far ago, back in July, wasn't too much movement from anyone with those 100-degree plus days and those real feels of like 105 or 110, or maybe even a little bit more in certain spots in North Carolina. So I'll take these 80s, I'll take these 70s, and I'll take these lows in the 50s and the 60s. I will take them gladly. But as always, hey, like I say, like today, there's a real feel of 90 degrees. So humidity is going to be up. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. If you're out there having a good time, I know there's a lot of festivals and whatever, what have you, that are going to be outside this weekend. So make sure you hydrate. Wear that sunscreen, hat on your head, and if you can, limit your time outside. If you start feeling weak or nauseous or overexerted, take some time off, go back inside, relax if you can. Drink that water, and the water, the Gatorade, Pedialyte. Pedialyte for adults to me. It makes me chuckle. It makes me chuckle because for me, it's always been for the kiddies when they're feeling under the weather. Your newborns, your babies, or your toddlers. They always say give them Pedialyte to keep those nutrients in them. But apparently, we as adults, we can take it also. That's what helps you out. That's what helps you out. So yeah, make sure you guys stay hydrated this weekend and the rest of the week. Especially this weekend, because temps, like I said, today are going to be pretty high with that real feel. Humidity is going to be up, but the rest of the week is expected to drop off. So, but still, keep an eye on yourself and keep an eye on the elderly also. We know how they do. We know how they do. They won't turn on that air conditioner to save their life. Hurts their joints and bones. Let them tell it. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. But yeah, man, hey, everybody get out this weekend and just enjoy yourself. Hey, the one day I have off during the weekend, because Saturday I have to go in and work a few hours, and I'm off the rest of the day, but Sunday I'm completely off. And on that Sunday when I'm completely off, man, I just find something to do outside. If it's nothing more than just going to sit outside somewhere and just read or just sit there and relax and observe people. I think I may be turned into an old fogey. Those old guys you used to see when I was coming along. I used to see these old guys just sitting out on the park bench or a bench somewhere, or sitting out in front of a store just looking at folks for hours and hours on end. I think I may be turned into an old fogey. An old fogey and not a perv. Let me make that clear. Not a perv. I may be turned into an old fogey because I will, just to get out the house, to get some fresh air, I'll go sit outside and I'll just relax. Either I read or I just sit there, stare aimlessly into space. They freak folks out, but hey, I don't care. I need some relaxation somewhere to relieve my stress. As long as I'm not bothering you, who cares? Who cares? So yeah, get out this weekend, man. Go to some of these festivals they're having, especially here in North Carolina, locally around Raleigh-Durham. There's always something going on the weekend, whether it be something with some food truck or like this weekend in Raleigh. I believe there's a Caribbean and African American festival that happens every year. They're having that this year. Pleasant Temps. Unlike last year and the years before, it was a scorcher. We had all those real feels. So go out, get out, and enjoy yourself this weekend. Enjoy yourself this weekend. Trust me. Never know when the mop's going to flop. Never know when those temps are going to rise back up again. So get out, get out, get out, get out. Continuation of sorts with this M-Pox over on the continent of Africa. Now, of course, the conversation is how they're going to combat this M-Pox. Excuse me. I got to remind myself I can't say monkeypox anymore. This has been deemed and termed offensive to say monkeypox. Relax. I'm not going to tear off into a tirade about how we have now become the society of any and everything appears to be offensive if someone or a group comes out and says, hey, that's offensive to me. Please stop saying it. We'll stop saying it. I'm not going to get on that That soapbox, just not going to do it. So now it's called M-Pox. So there's been quite a bit of conversation about M-Pox in here recently. Now the conversation has turned not only to how we're going to make these vaccines ramp up production, because there is a pharmaceutical company overseas that has taken the initiative and said, hey, we're going to ramp up production of this M-Pox vaccine to help, because that has been the issue with the influx now. This thing has been on the continent of Africa for 2 years, started back in 2022. And the call was put out. If you listen to my last podcast, I told you the call was put out 2 years ago by the World Health Organization saying, hey, we need some funding, we need some vaccinations. And pretty much the rest of the world turned their backs. But now the discussion is being talked about, discussed, and quite possibly, I hope, something can be done about the disparities internationally as it relates to the treatment and vaccines to combat this infection. So now it appears the international community has got in the business of talking about the disparities, racial disparities, economic disparities associated with the treatment and the production of vaccines for this M-Pox infection. I guess better late than never, I gather. I mean, I'm not trying to be a facetious butt here, but come on, man, this thing has been going on for 2 years. I believe that actually, for me personally, I think it makes common sense, because if you go back and you think when M-Pox first came on the scene in 2022, it was traced back, it was linked to homosexual activities, close skin-to-skin contact. And they said that it was only the large, overwhelming majority of those that were contracting M-Pox were homosexual. So very reminiscent, like I told you guys in the last podcast, we're back down that rabbit hole as it relates to the continent of Africa. Because if you remember in the early 80s, throughout the 90s and early 2000s, international community pretty much, maybe about 2000, when the world started raising hell and questioning and wondering and pondering what the world was going on, why was AIDS so rampant on the continent of Africa, why it was pretty much wiping a huge population out. Very reminiscent, mirrors, because now, then back 2 years ago, it was pretty much, like I said, related to the homosexual community, so no cares were given. But now, just like AIDS, it's affecting children. Tugs at your heart. And many of us in this big old international community we live in, whether it be here stateside or across the pond in Europe, when kids start getting harmed, a red flag is raised, eyebrows are raised, and we want some conclusive finality to the problem. Boy, we're always going down that damn rabbit hole with that continent of Africa. I'm sorry. And it shows, it glares. The disparities, it shows. The racial disparities, it shows. Always, always, always. Many of you out there may not be as old as I am. I'm 50, but I can remember wholeheartedly when HIV and AIDS first came out, very reminiscent of M-Pox, it was seen as a homosexual disease. It was their problem. Until it started crossing gender and sexuality boundaries. Then the alarm was sounded. Oh, we got to do something about this. So, I mean, if I could just say anything, it just appears blatantly that if it's related to one's sexual orientation or one's race, no cares are given until it's blown completely up and it starts hitting and targeting children. Because one of the things that came out, if you're saying to yourself, like I did, I said, well, what in the world? Why are these kids getting infected with this? That area of that region of the continent of Africa, the Congo, Rwanda, Uganda, and there was another country around that region in that area, They do have a lot of civil unrest. When I say civil unrest, there's civil wars. There's a lot of folks that's trying to get some new government in there, and they aren't taking it and doing it the diplomatic way because it's been going on far too long. They've been mistreated, browbeaten, or whatever, what have you. So these kids, that they're in these camps where they've been displaced, where their homes have been, and villages have been torn and ripped to shreds, they're in these camps in close quarters. So that's why monkeypox is spreading so rapidly, and the cases are just blowing up. You literally have people that are sitting and sleeping on top of each other in close proximity. I guess that's the politically correct term to say close proximity to each other. So that's what you have. But it appears the international community is taking the upper hand, and maybe, just maybe, they aren't going to wait until the last damn minute like they usually do, because children are now involved. Better late than never, I guess, I gather. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a facetious butt here, but man, how long and how often do we have to go through this before we finally realize and say, not just to ourselves, but out loud, enough is enough. Let's cut the crap. Whenever there's a problem, and whether or not it's confined to one race or one group of people and their sexual preference, we need to act then, instead of waiting. Because a lot of us, hey, it also came full circle with COVID. We all remember, think back 4 years ago when it first hopped on the scene. Yeah, it was revealed that a lot of those that were contracting COVID were African Americans that had those pre-existing conditions. And hey, let's be honest, there was a lot of dragging of feet. Until the horn was sounded, someone started coming out and putting the U.S. government on blast. Why are you dragging your feet? And we have a high number. Of course, there were high numbers of deaths on both sides of the racial spectrum, but for a brief moment, it was really and truly targeting and taking out a lot of African Americans that had pre-existing health conditions or didn't have access to health care like that. So like I said, I asked the question, when are we as a society and as a whole, whether it be here locally, nationally, or internationally, when are we going to start holding ourselves, not the government. I mean, we all know what the government does. When are we going to start holding ourselves accountable and say, hey, let's stop splitting hairs. Let's handle this before it gets out of hand. And then we're tripping and bumbling and stumbling all over ourselves trying to fix a problem that could have been avoided and seriously managed just by being proactive and not reactive, because it's only targeting or it's only prevalent with a certain portion of our society. I personally think it's a damn shame we're still talking, having these conversations, or I still have to say this or ask these questions in 2024. This ain't 1964. This ain't 1974 or 1950 or 60 or 1980 or maybe even 1990 something. This is 2024 and we're still having these conversations about disparities racially. And now we're having the conversation with disparities as it relates to one's sexual preference. That's the bottom line for me. Just is. All right, let's go move along here. Man, this is going to be kind of short here today. Let's go get it. An update of sorts. It appears arrests and indictments have been handed down in connection to the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry. I'm sure many of you have heard of this. Came out Thursday. You know, he had an overdose back in October of last year, and what they determined or what they found after the autopsy and maybe some things laying around the home or at that jacuzzi, it appears ketamine was the drug of choice. And if you're an old fogey like me, I'm out of touch. I didn't know what ketamine was. I want to say I'd heard of it, but I couldn't rightly remember. So I asked a younger family member. I said, "Hey, what the hell is ketamine?" He said, "Oh, that's a horse tranquilizer." A horse tranquilizer. Well, that's what ketamine is used for. It's used by vets to tranquilize these and calm and subdue these large animals. It's mostly used to sedate livestock. I'm not making short or giving a slight of the situation, because anyone's addiction is certainly is something to not make fun or poke fun at. But me and my common man perspective and simple mind, I gotta ask the obvious, the elephant in the room, no pun intended. What demons are you running from that you would use a horse tranquilizer to sedate yourself or get high? I just gotta ask. Get in the comment section. Let me know. I'm an old fogey. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, hey, I come from the generation of booze and maybe some a little bit of weed, marijuana. Some did use cocaine, but I just never heard of anyone using a horse tranquilizer to get high. It blew my mind. Just did. All right, let's get back on topic here. Yeah, 5 people have been arrested and indicted um, as it relates to the overdose death of Matthew Perry. Now, on Thursday, a coalition of law enforcement agencies, I believe they said DEA, the Los Angeles, wherever county they were in, the sheriff's department, the police department, might even been the FBI, were involved in this investigation to find out how in the world he got a hold, and how in the world he didn't only get a hold, but how it was a continuous process cycle. He had this ketamine readily available. Wow. Now, this law enforcement coalition of agencies announced Thursday at a press conference in Los Angeles that, like I said, 5 people were indicted and charged in the investigation into Perry's death, including, you got to listen to this, because this, I won't say it blew my mind, but this is a strong indication to me. I'm always out on that proverbial limb that if you got money, we all remember the case of Michael Jackson with him having that anesthetic that was used on severe burn victims, propanol, I believe that's what it was, how he had that readily available and was able to get it also. So this appears to be what has happened, or has happened to actor Matthew Perry also. Goes to show you, if you got money, you can get any and everything. The only thing that separates addicts, I'm out on that proverbial limb. I don't want you to think I'm being cruel and heartless or making fun. The only thing that separates a street addict from an actor or whatever, what have you, is the fact that the street addict really doesn't have any money, so he has less access to those good drugs. So he has to use street drugs. And the actor or whatever, what have you, professional football player or entertainer, they have money, so they can get the good stuff. Because of all of those 5 that were indicted, that included the actor's live-in assistant. I won't call his name, can't pronounce that last name. There were 2 doctors, very reminiscent of Michael Jackson also. Money, 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 money. And a street drug dealer and a lady. Apparently she was a supplier. A lady. And she was known as the ketamine queen. Well, you got to be pretty deep in the game. You got to be pretty deep in the game for them to give you the title of the ketamine queen. Of course, she was also known to dabble in, I believe what is this other drug? Methamphetamines. So she was known as the ketamine queen and the methamphetamine queen also. She had our pulse on the situation. Wow. Now, amid their investigation, authorities said that they unearthed a broad underground criminal network that killed Perry. The U.S. attorney for this district here out in L.A. added at Thursday's press conference that these defendants took advantage of Mr. Perry's addiction issues to enrich themselves. They knew what they were doing were wrong. Saying that they just gave him drugs, so what? That's what he wanted. And in the course of this investigation, they have discovered that they were overcharging Mr. Perry. They were overcharging. So that's why they say they knew what they were doing. They were using his addiction to enrich their lives and themselves. They knew full well what they were doing. Apparently, they were charging Mr. Perry upwards of $20,000 to $50,000 a vial, because I believe this drug, this ketamine, has to be taken intravenously. Had it been given through a shot, when the actual cost of the vial was $12. You heard me right. So you're charging this guy $20,000 to $50,000, and the actual cost is $12. And as everybody's living assistant had to know what was going on. I'm sure he got a cut. The two doctors that administered this, looks like, the street drug dealer, who was the go-between between himself and the ketamine queen, yeah, they all knew what they were doing. Also, if I could just sidetrack a little bit, then I'll get back to this. If you guys remember, maybe about 4 years or so ago, we all know the well-known and beloved actor Michael K. Williams, who played in certain television shows and movies. One of his most famous television role was what was his name? Omar, and that show about I believe it was The Wire, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Baltimore. He wasn't a Baltimore drug dealer. He was a Baltimore stick-up kid. And then there was another show, Happen Leonard, and then we all know him for Boardwalk. And then there were some more movies that he played in. But if we all remember, maybe 4 years ago, his drug dealer, a New York drug dealer, was arrested, also and charged, and received a criminal prison sentence. He was charged for selling Michael K. Williams the heroin that was laced with fentanyl that took him out. So that seems and appears to be what a lot of these district attorneys in different states and cities and towns are doing. If they can trace back that you're the one that's selling someone the drugs that make them OD, that is really, the fentanyl is really the problem, then chances are you're going to be arrested and charged, and you're going to spend some time in jail. So that appears to be what is going on now. This is what is being done to combat this drug problem that we are having in this country with these overdoses. So they arrested, charged, and convicted the New York drug dealer who sold Michael K. Williams the laced fentanyl heroin. And now they have arrested, indicted, haven't been convicted yet. They just arrested them this past week, the 5 people that are complicit in the overdose death of Matthew Perry. So that's what we're doing now. Getting got to understand it, but I got a question. I'm always asking questions, just like I asked with the case of Michael K. Williams. How is it that you can really and truthfully charge a drug dealer with the death of a drug user that's an addict, if that's what they are asking for? If that's their drug of choice? Because I can honestly tell you, when the thing with fentanyl first came about, I thought to myself, like many of you, I was saying, man, these drug dealers, they got no morals, they got no nothing, they got no scruples, they'll do anything. I actually believe wholeheartedly, and I even tell my part, that they were purposely lacing their drugs with this fentanyl, and they knew full well what this fentanyl can do. One-time use, it could take you out. But now I know that you can build a tolerance for it, and that's the tolerance, that's the drug you want. Whether it be laced with fentanyl, cocaine laced with fentanyl, or heroin laced with fentanyl, And that particular drug dealer, that's what they sell. So you go to them, you know that's what you want, and they sell it to you. So I asked the question then, just like I'm asking the question now, with this ketamine and the overdose death of Matthew Perry, how can you charge these people if that's what the addict wants? I'm not being heartless. I'm honestly not. I'm just seriously asking this question. How can you charge these people as it relates to his choice? I mean, are they really trying to put some morality in the drug game? Ain't no morality in the drug game. The drug dealer sell to his mother, his daddy, his uncle, his aunt, his cousin, his brother, sister, pastor, doctor, none. It don't matter. That's the drug game. I myself have never been in the drug game. Wasn't my bag, wasn't my cup of tea, but I certainly have observed enough people to know they ain't got no morals. They don't care who they sell it to, as long as they get their money for that product. So get in the comment section, school me to the game. Maybe maybe I am being heartless, but can you really and truthfully say that drug dealers should be charged for selling folks drugs and they OD if that's what they specifically want? If that's their drug of choice? Can they be arrested? Should they be arrested and charged? Well, legally, I guess you can. And that appears to be what has happened in these two separate cases. This is going on throughout the country. There was a case, like I said, back then, there was a case here in little old Apex, North Carolina, where someone had OD with using some fentanyl, and the parents went to the DA, and the DA decided to charge that drug dealer. There was a case in here in Durham County also. So this is what is going on throughout this world, this country we are living in. It appears now they're trying to hold these drug dealers accountable for their actions and their deeds with morality. Drug dealers ain't got no morality. Now, let's get back on this Matthew Perry thing, because I said earlier that if anything, his case and Michael Jackson's case, it shows you, it's a glaring example of you having the financial means to support more expensive, a better drug of choice habit, as opposed to the lowly person on the street. Whether it be an addict that doesn't have employment or an addict that has gainful employment, certainly they can't get a hold of that 20 or 50,000 that was used for this ketamine, to purchase this ketamine, when it actually costs $12. So yeah, they did take advantage. But those are drug dealers or drug facilitators. That's just the drug game as a whole. There's no morals. There's no scruples. In their eyes, there's no wrong or right. There's no, let me make a decision. I shouldn't give it to this guy. I really shouldn't. He's gone over the edge. If that's what you're looking for in the drug game, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. It ain't going to happen. At least I don't think so. So these 5 have been indicted. They're now open charges. They've been arrested. I don't think they're bond. I don't think they really said anything about bond or bail or whatever or what have you. I think they're still locked up. So this is the thing what they're doing with this with the drug game now. They're arresting these drug dealers and holding them accountable for someone else's action. I guess they're saying that, you know, hey, we got to look out for these people that are addicted to these hard narcotics, and these drug dealers are taking extreme advantage. Yes, they are. But how much of it is an advantage if that's what you want? Not being heartless, not being cruel, not being unsympathetic, but I gotta ask. I just don't see it. Now, I'm not saying they should be, left alone to roam and continue doing what they're doing. I mean, certainly, if you can arrest, you can trace back to their dealing drugs, yeah. But shouldn't it be, could it be that you just charge them with the fact that they're dealing drugs? Or is it now with these cases They haven't listed charges. They're going to charge them with murder also. Is that how they're going to link the drug dealing? Yeah, because those two cases I just named locally here in Apex, North Carolina, and Durham, North Carolina here, those guys were charged with, I can't rightly remember whatever degree of murder or manslaughter. Maybe it's manslaughter. But still, you got to pull time. Makes you wonder. Makes me wonder. Makes me ponder. Makes me really sit down and think. Then again, what do I know? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off. Maybe I am cruel and insensitive and a heartless bastard, as I've been called. But I just don't understand how you can charge a drug dealer with this when it's that addict's choice. So are they saying that the addict's mind is so far gone they can't make good decisions? Yeah, I give you that. They can't make decisions. I haven't known too many addicts that make good decisions. So I guess law enforcement officials and these attorney generals and district attorneys are saying we'll take the upper hand, we'll take the ball, because there's a lot of family members that are asking questions that want some finality with their loved one's death. And we're now going to start charging these drug dealers with murder or involuntary or voluntary manslaughter. I guess it can be done. But ain't no can be, it is happening. So get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that's a option? Or maybe not even an option, or something that should outright come out the gate once you find out who the drug dealer is? They should be charged with murder or involuntary manslaughter, depending on where you are at in this country, depending on the laws on the books in the city or state where you're at. Is it feasible? Is it logical? Is it legal? I think somewhere, somehow, somebody's going to come up and challenge this. I mean, there have been numerous of things that we thought were a slam dunk that came up and were challenged, and that law either had to be done away with or rewritten with some different speculations to get that law and keep it on the book to include those charged and make sure they were convicted. It seems like a broad brush to me. Just does. We will see what happens. We will see what happens, because just like this ain't the last case, I'm sure, and I can rest assured when I say this ain't the last case we're going to hear of someone overdosing and those drug dealers being charged. I think at some point in time in the near future, we're going to have someone that is going to contest these indictments and charges and convictions, and this law is going to have to be seriously looked at and may have to be rewritten in order to truthfully charge, hold, and convict these drug dealers. And again, what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? Hey, look, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going and skedaddle. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the topics, these few topics I talked about today. The medical disparities internationally as it relates to the treatment and vaccines of M-Pox. Is it something that we should wait to the last minute and then get all up in arms and start running around tripping over our own feet? Or should we handle this as soon as it happens? Because by now, I got to be honest with you, with the infections of virus of COVID and now M-Pox, we know when something like this, a virus like this comes on the scene and it's transmitted so easily by skin-to-skin contact or droplets, it needs to be handled right then and there instead of waiting to the last moment. Do you think that's feasible? Or should we wait? Because with M-Pox, 2 years ago, we know they were pretty much saying or outright or implying or outright saying this was an indication or a choice because of someone's sexual preference. So let me know what you guys think. Get in the comment section. Either way. And also let me know what you think about these five that have been charged and indicted with the overdose death of actor Matthew Perry. Can they really and truthfully, or should they really truthfully be charged in the overdose death with murder? Or is it just something, hey, it's an addict's choice. They know what they're using. Is the drug dealer really liable? Morality in the drug game. The world really is changing. Not making slight, I'm not making fun, but I just never heard of morality and the drug game used in the same sense. Now, unless they were saying, hey, ain't no morality in the drug game. And that's truthful to me. I mean, that's just the way I've seen it throughout the years. So maybe times are changing. Maybe the world is getting better. They're going to hold folks accountable that deal these drugs. I think at some point in time, this is going to be challenged. I just do. Then again, what do I know? What do I know? Hey, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to skedaddle. As always, hey, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about these topics today. Hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Thank you all for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Corner Gay. Amen.